Howdy folks, this is Checkers, and this is Oblivion. A different character than Morris. This is a much higher level character. I suppose this is Checkers channel news, and before I get started, I should remember to tell you that I have trouble remembering things. My memory is much worse than it was. For instance, I had to look up the console commands I use to make our little walks here peaceful. It is what it is. I try not to get too upset about it, because I've noticed that the more upset I get about losing my memory, the more I seem to lose it. Sort of like grasping sand or water in your hand. The more you squeeze, the more you lose. So I do my best. In most cases, that means that my other monitor, my second monitor, has Microsoft OneNote on it and tries to keep track of all the things that I would like to remember and can't. For instance, many of the things that I want to talk about today. Without it, I would probably be lost in just about everything that I do. It's about where I am. And like I said, it is what it is. I will find a way through it. By God, I will find a way to make it better. If nothing else, I know that playing helps keep my mind and memory as sharp as it can be. And who knows, maybe it'll even make it better. This video isn't going to be a premiere because these videos are always the hardest for me to make. I don't know, I suppose I'm not comfortable talking about myself, but I also feel that the things I want to talk about are impacting the channel. They're impacting whether or not I make videos to my schedule more regularly or what have you. So I feel like they're things I have to talk about, but that doesn't really make it any easier for me. What? Is that a Drew? Dreg? I believe it is. It is. Wow, we haven't run into those yet with Morris. Fancy meeting you here. Okay. Well, this is much like a bedtime walk, so everyone will be quite peaceful about everything. I should probably get on with the video though. So, this has been a really rough month. I know it's been rough months for everyone, and I'm not trying to belittle any of that, but this past month for me has been very, very rough. I don't even know where to begin, but I suppose I should begin by saying that my body, my bones, were very, very angry in July. Angry enough that things had to be done about it. If you don't watch these, or I don't actually remember, I've probably told the story before, but either way, I've not been overwhelmingly kind to my body down through the years, especially when I was younger. Nice Daedric armor on the orc. I have managed to live through several motorcycle accidents. When I was much younger, when I was a child, I fell out of a tree and landed on the top of my head straight as an arrow, like a lawn dart, and that did wonders for my spine. Currently, as far as I know, it's damaged in 3 places: my neck, basically behind my heart, and my lower back. And my lower back, it even actually pinches on my spinal cord, which is super exciting. But mostly, I think what sort of kicked everything into gear last month, my neck was really bad. It started to swell. I actually had sort of like a sack of swelling on the back of my neck. You could actually feel it when I walked. It was really exciting. But to combat the swelling and everything, my doctor put me on some prednisone, which is a corticosteroid, I think, and it did get the swelling down. It doesn't really... I think it did help the hurting some also, but when they hurt, they just seem to hurt. Anyway, what made it even more exciting was about the same time I was carrying... I have a replica of Michonne's sword from The Walking Dead, and I don't really play with it, but every so often I take it out to oil it, because it's a real blade. And it is also apparently real sharp. So I was walking with it from where I keep it to a table to oil it, and I blacked out while I was walking. And, well, I didn't actually hit the ground. I went from upright to about a 45-degree angle, so it was real short. I think if all of this hadn't happened, I wouldn't have even known that I blacked out, but I was carrying it in a way that it couldn't slip out of its sheath. But as I woke up much closer to the ground, it did actually start to slip out of its sheath. And I also noticed that my cat was under me, right about in the same place, so I grabbed the blade with one finger, and for about 7 inches of actually really amazingly sharp sword, it ran down to the bone and then ran on the bone until my kitty cat could get out of the way, and then I let it drop, and then I bled all over the place and ended up in the hospital and got 6 stitches, and it bled for a very long time. It bled so much that the doctor not only stitched it shut, she glued it shut, and then she put paper stitches over the top of that. Now, this actually does impact me a little bit because it's one of the fingers of my right hand, and I use those on the numeric keypad to move through many games, so that has been a lot more challenging. Essentially, I'm working around it, even right now as we do this. But I'm not at my super fast, snappy best, and I am working around it, so that's kind of slowed me down with a lot of things. I've actually made the mistake of using it a couple of times, and that's a pretty big mistake. Pretty sure I'm not going to feel anything in the tip of that finger for a very long time, if ever. Anyway, so that was a Wednesday of a week, and on that same week, 2 days later, on Friday, I had to do some skin punch nerve biopsies. So this is going back to my whole condition of blacking out and things. So went to do that, and a little background. The neurologist did some blood tests back in January, and they all went haywire. My immune system, the test showed as positive, which I think means they were over their normal readings. So show up for Friday to do the skin punch biopsies, and they do 3, 2 in your thigh, 1 high around your hip, 1 low around your knee, and then 1 in your ankle. And that process went okay until afterwards, because I was still bleeding a lot. Now, I'm not in general a bleeder. I have never been, and I've been on aspirin, baby aspirin, for a long time, for heart things, even though my heart is really good. I don't know if they did it as a precaution or what, but I've been on it. But I've never been a bleeder. And I don't know if prednisone has that side effect or not. I know that it can suppress the autoimmune system, but this all happened in the middle of that. Anyway, suffice it to say, the skin punch holes are, about the size of a pencil around, and what I didn't know is they're about an inch deep. One of them bled for 5 days, and that was weird. Actually getting them to stop entirely was pretty challenging, but finally got them under control. So I don't know if I'm a bleeder now or if it was just a side effect of all the weird. But along with that, I didn't get to just go home. The neurologist ordered more blood tests, so off to the blood test place, which is right next door to where I did the nerve punch biopsies, or skin punch biopsies. So now I'm bleeding through my pants and the bandages and going to get a blood test during COVID. It was super exciting. Oh, I had a COVID test before all of that. And so I don't have that. At least I didn't before all of this. Yeah. So the blood tests, right. The blood tests now all came back normal, which would be normally a thing to be very excited about, except for the fact that I was taking prednisone in the middle of the blood test, which I told the neurologist several times, but I think probably slipped everyone's mind, except for the memory patient at this point. Anyway, I talked to my doctor, and he said that, yes, they could very well interfere with the blood tests, and they were something like ANA markers and IgG something or other. Basically, she retested some of the ones, well, all the ones, I think, that went haywire the first time, except for a couple. But my normal doctor said she didn't do a couple. Anyway, so I've got to go out and do those again. I think, actually, the MRI of my brain was approved, too, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, the whole blood test thing is all a little... I'd like to be, I don't have horrible things. Because some of the blood tests were, their potential, when they were positive, their potential for some scarier things existed, but now I won't know until I do them again. So, super exciting, all of that. But with all of that and everything else, I seem to feel a bit stronger this month, a bit more positive overall. I'm still bandaged up, my fingers still bandaged, my legs still bandaged. But, I'm hanging in there. And trying to get back into the swing of things. My chair is... I have one of, the original gaming chair. It was a gift because my back has problems, and they're not the most comfortable chairs in the world, but I will say that it has been a huge help, especially for my lower back. And to have it die now is a really... It's like, really? You had to pick now. You couldn't have waited. You couldn't have done it earlier when the channel was doing better. No, you pick now. Cool. Yeah. And then, trying to... I don't know, looking at chairs is insane. They're expensive as, proper PC components. There's one chair that I look at, and if I had the money, I would do it. It's stupidly expensive. It's not like Herman Miller expensive, but it's pretty close. It's like 2/3 of the way there. There's a chair called the Vertigear Trigger 350 SE, and It's just, it seems like it's got a lot of like adjustments, and it's got like a specific headrest and lumbar support, and it looks like something that would be even more supportive than a gaming chair. But you know, the thing is $1,000. I mean, I make like $400 a month, and thank you for that. I mean, I'm not knocking that. I'm lucky I still have something, you know. Thanks to YouTube and the kindness of you folks, I am lucky. Not everybody is. This whole situation is hitting people pretty hard. It's actually cutting into me too. My support system is threatened very much by all of this. Starting to cancel my future doctor's appointments because there's just no guarantee that there'll be any way to pay for them. This is a strange new world we're in. But, you know, there is hope in it. Last month was really hard. I was pretty sad. But I don't know, I feel a hope now. I don't know why things are looking worse than they have been, but I just do. I feel hope. I think I want to try something new, a completely new series for the channel, and if I do it, it'll be a series. And that's a brave thing for me to even attempt, but part of all of this is, you know, I feel like I want to do something while I still have the chance. And I can still remember and everything. But I think it'll be fun. I really do. I don't know, I'm pretty excited about it. Maybe that's why I'm feeling more hopeful. I know it's hard on everyone, so, you know, find the hope where you can find it. Don't be afraid to play. Don't be afraid to get in your game and get lost. And, you know, take it from me, there is a great relief to be found in games, in just having all the stress and pressure lifted from your shoulders, even for a moment. It is a powerful thing. And I think that's why we're here in Oblivion right now. Oblivion is where I hid when I first broke, when I first started blacking out and falling down, when I was so afraid of everything. I was so lucky this was here. My body may have broken, but Oblivion saved my mind. It saved my heart and soul, and I will always love it for that. There's one other thing that I've been doing, I think, that's really helped, and I'm not trying to preach or push an ideology or anything, but I've been doing meditation a lot, and I think it's really, really helped. I kind of feel about it as if it's defragging the mind. If you know what defragging is, it's if you have a PC and you have a hard drive, information gets scattered around the hard drive. It makes it harder for the drive to locate. It just takes it a little bit longer. I think meditation is a lot like that. You just sort of relax and try to zero out, if you will, to not think about anything, and it sort of lets your subconscious deal with all the fragmented information. But I think it has helped me, certainly, to not be so afraid of falling down, and maybe, like I said, if I hadn't had a sword in my hand that cut me, I wouldn't have known. As I tried to explain it at the hospital, I had trouble going back over that spot in my memory, trying to explain what had happened exactly. It wasn't until I got home and tried to actually recreate what happened that I realized how far the sword had to have tilted forward, how far I had to have tilted forward. But I think it was sort of meditation that let me be calm and cool about that. And quite honestly, I think it was games that let my mind be so investigatively leaned as to try and figure out why the sword came out when it should never have, and I was able to piece together everything. Anyway, I digress. It's getting along towards my bedtime, and I imagine I'm getting tired and probably just sort of yammering now. So, I don't know if anything of what I've said has made sense, but I may forget things, and I may not always answer as well as I used to. I'm not trying to be, dismissive or unkind to anyone. My memory really is that bad. It's not a joke. I use everything now that I can. Mostly, like I said, OneNote on my second monitor because I'm very often with my computer. And when not that, I use everything I can on my phone, including like texting myself messages. My health is, varies wildly from day to day, so I try my very best to at least get Oblivion and New Vegas where they should be. I don't always succeed, and I am sorry, because I feel like, I hope at least that they help too, give somebody that little lift of their own burden off their shoulders. So I don't ever lightly not do it. It's if I'm not where I'm supposed to be, it's probably because I don't have any choice. I want to thank you all so much, for kind words, for watching, for being a reason that I do what I do, and letting me still be a part of entertainment as I have been for decades now. It means so much to me to still be a part of this, and I am so grateful to you all for that opportunity. And don't worry about me. I'm tough, I'm resilient. Things may take longer. It may take, the whole overall world situation changing before I get all of my answers, but at least I seem to be pointing in the right direction now, and that adds a whole lot of hope. I'm taking as good care of myself as I possibly can, and I will be much more careful with sharp things in the future. I am actually extraordinarily careful. It may seem like I'm not, but remember, I only tell you things when they're super exciting. I tend to gloss over the days. But I get up carefully when I sit down or lay down. I walk slowly. I do everything I can to protect myself so that if I black out even for a fraction of a second, I don't end up doing horrific things to myself. I'm pretty careful. So, if the things I've said have concerned you, don't let it be too concerning. I do pretty well at this. I've had a lot of experience over the years. And, I know the overall situation in the world is pretty freaky right now, but hang in there. I know there is a lot of weird, but there is always a lot of good. There are a lot of good hearts and good souls and kind people, and you are some of them. So, have faith in that. And stay safe. Take care. Thank you so much for everything you do, because you are amazing. Take care, please. And everyone remember to play. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.